Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to our MATLAB programming course. In this session, we will get familiar with MATLAB, its environment. We will understand how to run codes, how to execute codes, how to learn and create some variables. So this is the foundation for everything we will do in this course. So make sure to follow along. Since this is the first session, so what are our learning goals in this lecture? We will understand the MATLAB's interface, navigate the command windows, workspace, editors and current folders. We will inshallah learn about how to run commands and scripts. We will use and create variables. We will learn some rules, some naming rules in order to apply correct variable naming. But before that, we will learn some basic introduction of MATLAB, what MATLAB provides us. See, MATLAB provides us two basic things. First, high-level programming language means a readable syntax that can be easily understood by humans, not by the computers. That is termed as high-level programming language, and MATLAB provides us that interface. Secondly, Matrix also provides us matrix-based computing environment, means a computing environment in which we can store data in matrix form and do all the calculations on large learning models on MATLAB. Some basics computations to high level computations on MATLAB. So if you talk about the basic desktop overview of MATLAB consists of these four things. First is command window, second is workspace variables, third is editor, and fourth is current folder. So now we should try to navigate these four parameters on the MATLAB's interface. So this is a MATLAB's interface look like, in which this is a editor where we write our code that we want to execute, the command that we want to execute, or some naming rule variables we will do in this editor. We can do same thing in command window as well, but what is the difference between command window and editor? Inshallah we will learn in further lectures. Thirdly is our workspace variable, in which we will store our data in some form of variables, and fourth is the current folder where we will navigate a path of the script. So basically this is the interface of MATLAB in which we will be executing our programs and executing our codes. So the first thing, the main core concepts behind the programming is to understand the command window and its scripts. So what is command window and scripts, and what is basically the difference between command window and scripts, as I mentioned earlier. See, command window is used for the immediate executions. If I want to execute a MATLAB command, any MATLAB command directly, to see its output immediately, okay, what exactly this command does. So this is mostly for ideal cases in order to check the quick calculations or for the testing purpose, or we can also use for the exploring of functions, that what is this function is used for. While the MATLAB script, that is a reusable code of files, that certain lines of instructions you can write in that script, so that script become preserved for you and you can reuse it multiple times and execute it multiple times later on when you will need it. So this is the basic difference between command window and command scripts. Now we can verify this from MATLAB's interface as well. This is a MATLAB's interface, and the same command that we have write in the lecture we will try to execute here. For example, I have two numbers 2 plus 3 in if I want to add them, when I press enter, see what will I get. We will get direct execution and direct answer to the input that we have given 2 plus 3. What if I don't want the direct answer? I want to store it, my command, for further use, for future use. So what I have to do? First I have to store my data somewhere. For that purpose we need multiple variables. For example, in our case we need minimum 3 variables. First variable to store the first number 2, second variable to store a second number 3, and the third variable for the output C. So we will try for okay, so now we can try to execute on a same thing on our MATLAB editor. First we need a variable. We can use any name. I am using first as a variable. So I will save my first number in this variable, that is 2. Then second variable, I use the name second. You can use any name, that is up to you. 3. My two numbers are saved in first and second, and I want to, for example, save the output to a name variable of font. So what will happen? I simply say add these two numbers. 9 means add first, sorry, my bad, plus add second. So now what will happen? Since we learned that MATLAB doesn't show the output directly, so when I will run this code, see what is command window showing. Command window first is showing that there is an error. And what is the error? Since it's a case sensitive language, we know that if we have saved the variable in FIRST format, so we have to use that variable in the same format. For example, here's the RS missing. So now we will retry to run this file. See, now the file is executed properly. So what it is showing, that it shows that our script is working properly, but there is no output. So where can we find our output? We know that we have saved in this variable, so we will try to call this variable. How we can call is just simply write the variable name and press enter. So what we now get is the values, the command that we have gave to MATLAB has stored in the variable that I can use anytime that when I need. So we have verified from the MATLAB as well. Okay, the next is why we mostly use scripts. What is the basic fundamental difference between scripts and command windows that we recalled earlier, and the reason why mostly in practical cases people use scripts. So we have to understand these four things: persistence, length, reusability. So about command window and scripts, first is persistence. We know that command window does not store any commands for future use or does not store any data into the variables until it is commanded, while it is mandatory for the scripts to save the data into some variables. Then we should execute our commands. So this is a safer side, that in case of loss of data, we have stored our data into some variable for the future use. Second is length. We know that command window executes only a single line at a time. So in order to execute multiple lines, we have to first write first line, then we have to wait for the output, then we have to execute the second line, then output, third line, then output. So if I want to execute multiple lines or write whole programs, so in order to get a finalized output, a MATLAB script is used in most cases or considered the best choice for it. About the reusability, command windows codes are not usable. Say once they are executed, the commands are vanished. You have to rewrite those certain commands in order to reuse it again. While in scripts, you can run it anytime, you can share it to others, you can do whatever you want, you can rechange your codes, you can programs, you can add certain things, you can remove certain things from the files from the MATLAB scripts. So what is the best for command window and scripts? So command window is mostly used for quick testing and exploration of the certain constants, certain functions and the expressions, while MATLAB scripts are actually used for the larger projects and for the assignments. So the last thing that is remains is variables in the workspace. How to create variables and how to name them variables. We got a certain little bit of idea about the variables, that how to create variables in MATLAB. Very simple method. What we have to do, we have to just name the variable, any name. You can use X as a name, you can use Y as a name, you can use Z as a name. That depends on you. For example, if I'm taking X as a name, if I want to save the value, any value to the X, I just simply use the equality operator. Now what this equality operator will do, this will assign the value to my variable. For example, if I want to save a number that is 112, when I run the code, now I can clearly see in the workspace variable here that the value in 112, the value that I assigned to x is stored in that variable. So what workspace does? Workspace does this thing that it shows that what value I have assigned to my what variable. I can clear my workspace by simply typing clear all. See, all the variables are gone, and I can clear my command window as well by simply writing clc, means clear command window. So my clear command window is gone as well. So what is the basic idea behind the variable naming? Just simply using the assign operator, that is equality sign. Okay, what we can do further is naming rules. There are certain restrictions before naming the variables. The first rule is starting with a letter. You cannot use any variable that starts from any number or any invalid character. For example, I want to create a variable that contains my roll number and then it contains my name, for example 112 Afan. So this is invalid variable name. I can't use the number in the start or any character. For example, if I want to write like this static Afan, no, I can't use that. I can't use this. I can't use asterisk. I can't use any special character and any number in the start of the variable before naming the second rule is no space allowed. Before I am naming the variable, if I want to write my whole name as a variable, I can't give the gap, the vacant space between the whole name. So what is the rectification? We can use underscore. So this underscore is also included in the name. So now my complete variable will be look like this. So the second rule that I have to keep in mind is I can't give a gap, a vacant space, a white space while naming the variable. Thirdly, case sensitive language that we have learned earlier. MATLAB is a properly case sensitive language. So if I want to write the word answer and if I write another variable answer, so there is a very simple and minimal difference between these two variables. First is that the first alphabet is capital in both the variables, while this in first variable, while in second variable the first letter is small. So what will happen? This will happen that now command window, script will consider these two variables as a separate variable, while I wanted to show these two variables as the same variable. For example, if I want to save 2 to this value, if I want to save 3 to this variable, and when I will execute this, so see, the 2 value is saved in answer with a capital A, while the 3 value is saved in the variable that starts with the answer small a. So this is the basic difference between two variables, and the reason of this difference is it is a case sensitive language. If I want to override this value, for example, if I say okay, first the value of my variable is 2 and now my value of my variable is 3. So now if both the variables are same, there is no change in the variables. When I run the code, see, the same variable have the now value 2 and again this same variable have the value 3. No change in the value of the small variable answer. So these are the some basic rules that we should follow and we should use while naming the variables. Another thing is semicolon. The semicolon you can use and this depends upon you. Semicolon is basically used to restrict the output in the command window. For example, I have named the variable answer and its value is 3. If I want to just execute the line and I don't want to show its data to the command window, I just simply use a semicolon to it. If I add semicolon and I will run this, so there is no output shown to the command window. But if I remove the semicolon and then I try to execute it, see, the MATLAB will show the output and executes the command as well. This is the basic difference between semicolon and the terminator. So we can use a basic example of this. This is basically a script. That is what it is doing. It is basically finding the area of any surface, any rectangular surface, or you can do it, you just plug in the values, and so what is exactly it is doing. We have a variable called length. It's taking an input value 5. We have another variable that is called width, and is taking the input value 3. I want to calculate the area. Now what we know, the basic formula of area is length multiplied by breadth, length into width. So what I have done is the same thing. I just multiplied these two variables, length and width, and if I want to show the area, display the area, I use the command display. This will directly show my area to the command window. I can run this command and I show that this shows the value to the command window. Another way to show is I simply remove the semicolon from this and remove this line. It also shows the direct answer to the command window. We can recheck this. If I run the execute, see the area is again 15. So there are multiple ways to do anything. Okay, what is this percentage sign shows? This is basically called comments. Anything that I will write in these portion, in this percentage portion, is termed as comments. It means whatever I write does not be executed, is just used to show what you have done in the command. So there is no link with this to your set of code. This is just the command that is used in order to comments that is used in order to get the idea of your code. So this is the basic summary to our MATLAB. What we have done till now: understand the MATLAB interface. We have learned about MATLAB's scripts versus MATLAB command window. We learned about how to create and use variables, and what are the rules in order to create variables. So this is for now. Inshallah, in upcoming lecture we will learn about built-in constants, that why the predefined constants are important in MATLAB, and we will get the idea of MATLAB help system, that how to explore different functions in MATLAB from MATLAB help system. So before next lecture, practice some scripts, use different variables for the different projects. As I used the simple code of calculating the area, you can use another code, you can use another method, you can try to get reinforced in naming rules. Okay, so that's it for today. Inshallah, I will get back to you in the next lecture.